Hey, grade 11s, you're not going to believe what I just did. I just recorded the entire key to the rational expressions assignment and your trig lesson, but I didn't actually record it because I forgot to push the record button. So, I'm going to show you the rational expressions pages and talk a little about them. You're not going to see me writing it out. And then I'm going to show you the trig pages and talk about it and hope that it'll all work out. What I might do is do some of the trig because you won't have seen that. Alright, so let's get down to it. Sorry. So here is our rational expressions review. These questions are out of 1 each for a total of 3. There's the answers. And it shows the work. You factor the bottoms, the denominators. Remember, this is division, so I multiply by the reciprocal, cancel, and I get this. Factor everywhere, cancel, I get this. Factor everywhere, cancel, I get this. Since I showed all the work, it shouldn't be a big problem. Divided by means you multiply by the reciprocal, factor everywhere, and cancel. There's your answer. There's your non-permissible values. Factor everywhere and cancel. There's your answer. There's your non-permissible values. Now remember, since we canceled both of the numerators, we have to have a 1 there. These are worth 2 each. And then here, remember, remember that we're multiplying by the reciprocal. So we reciprocate it, factor everything, and cancel. There's our answer. But remember, we've got to check all of both of those spots because it was division. Lowest common denominator, factor them all, and you see you need a 4x, you need x plus 6, x minus 6, and you need an x and an x plus 6. So that guy already had the 4 and the x, so he needed the x plus 6, x minus 6. That guy needed the 4 and the x minus 6, so there is our common denominator. Add these up, get a common denominator. You have a common denominator already. Remember, you should factor all the time, so don't leave it like that. There's your 2 there because you already had a common denominator. In this one, you needed an x up here because he already had the x plus 1. Then you just combine your like terms and do any factoring you can. There's your final answer. There's your non-permissible values. Factor right there. There it is. So your common denominator is x plus 3, x minus 5. Factor, factor, factor. And there's your final answer with your non-permissible values. That was worth 3, so that page is worth 5. Solve the equation as always. Get a common denominator. Factor, 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 cancel, cancel, cancel. Once you have your common denominator, you get to get rid of it, and you just solve the numerator. Collect your like terms, combine them, factor the trinomial, find the roots. Remember, this has a denominator of 1. So your common denominator was x minus 4. So this needed x minus 4. You do all the work. You find that x equals 4, but that's an undefined value. And Fari can eat the popcorn 1 and 20, and you can eat the popcorn 1 and 25. So 1 over 20 and 1 over 25 has to equal 1 over the time you don't know. Then you do all your work. And here, with the wind against the wind, 15k with, 15k against, they rode their bikes at some speed. The wind helped them, and the wind hurt them. Time is always distance divided by speed. Set up your common denominator. Work it out, factor it out. When you get to here, that doesn't factor. So you had to use the quadratic formula This gives you a negative number. It can't have a negative speed, so it had to be this one. And the whole thing is out of 39. And then in trig, so the unit circle, they call this the unit circle because all of these points could make a circle. And you'll notice that all these points, that point right there, x, y, they're both positive. So that would give me y up, x here, and that, since it's the hypotenuse, will be x squared plus y squared. And you will notice that in red, I got positive y, because that's opposite, over the hypotenuse to make sine. Here, it would be positive y over the hypotenuse, right? So that sets us up this schmozzle. Now, I wrote it as xy, but then I put numbers in to help you out. So this point is 3, 4, which means I went 3 on the x, 4 on the y, which makes this automatically 5. Then I put the numbers in. Sine 4 over 5. Hey, wait a minute. That's our y value over our r value. R is always that. X squared plus y squared, and then you take a square root. Now notice over here in red, it's negative 3 and positive 4. So my sine stays positive, but my cos and my tan go negative. Down here, my sine has gone negative, my cos is negative, but my tan is positive. And over here, my cosine is positive, but my sine and my tan are negative. And that sets up this. In quadrant 1, all of them, sine, cos, tan, are all positive. In quadrant 2, only sine is positive. In quadrant 3, only tan is positive. And in quadrant 4, only C is positive. And that sets up another like SOHCAHTOA thing. A-C-T-S, acts, or C-A-S-T, cast. It just tells you what's positive where. So, we ran through this. These are all the perfect ones. 90, 0, 90, 180, 270. And look what happens, right? Your sine is y over r. Well, this distance is your r, and it's 4. Your y was 0, so 0 over 4. Your sine of 0 degrees is 0. Your cosine of 0 degrees is 1. Your tangent of 0 degrees is 0. Then I just went through all the special ones. But that's only 4 numbers, right? 0, 90, 180, 270. There's a lot of space in between, and that's what this is about. So there's my x, there's my y. Negative 4, 11, which would be right there. Negative 4, 11. So I do my math. Sine is y over r. Cosine is x over r. Tangent is y over x. And r, the hypotenuse, is x squared plus y squared square root, which is the square root of 137. So now I have a y and an r. Y was 11. R was the root of 137. Cosine is x over r, negative 4 over 137. Tangent is y over x, negative 11 over 4. So I do all that math, and I do shift sine, and I find I get 70 degrees. But that makes no sense, because I know it's got to be way out here. 70 is the reference angle, but it's not theta, because theta has to be in standard position. So it has to be this side of it. Well, we remember from the first lesson, this all the way to here is 180. But I'm going 70 degrees short, so this is 110 degrees. That's what theta is. Down here, there's my x and my y. So right away I know my tangent, because tan is y over x. So negative 3 over 4. So then I do shift tan to get negative 36. Well, if I start at 0, negatives go downwards. So this is 36. But I want it in standard position. Standard position starts there and goes this way. Well, if I went all the way, it would be 360, but I stopped 36 degrees short. So this is 324 degrees. Same thing here. That is a y, that is an x. Tangent is negative, so it's in quadrant 2. So that has to be the 9, that has to be the negative 5. So then I shift tan and I get 61 degrees. But that doesn't make any sense because it has to end here. That's why I have this. Right? Which is 180 minus the 61. So that's 119. That's actually theta. Now, if you use your calculator to get all these numbers, you're going to see, as I have here, a bunch of numbers that are the same. Well, this is y. So D and H is black. So D was 10 degrees. Right there. H was 190. So all the way around there. This reference was 10. They're both the same. This is in the A quadrant, so everything's positive, even tangent. This is in the T quadrant, or quadrant 3, so only tangent can be positive. Now, if you look at E and F, I've done that in red. They're both negative. So sine is positive there, and sine is positive there, so it can't be either of those. It's got to be here, 43. So if I go all the way around, that is 223. If I go all the way around here, that is 317. Because they're the same. Now, when they're opposites, like B and C, B is 170, so 10 back from 180. Cosines are negative in that quadrant. 350, 10 away from 360, but cosines are positive in that quadrant. See? And then lastly, give the angle in standard position where sine is negative. Well, there's two places where sines are negative, right? So here's my quadrants. Sine is positive here, so it can't be there. Sine is positive here, so it can't be there. It has to be down here. So if I do shift sine, I get negative 24. So that means my reference right here is 24. So the first one is 180 plus 24, which is 204. And the second one has to be 360 minus 24 to get 336. And lastly, I know my cos. Cos is negative, so it cannot be there. It cannot be there. It's got to be over here. When I do the math, when I hit that on my calculator, I get 30. So that's 30, that's 30. So the first one, 180 minus 30. And then the second one, 180 plus 30. And there you go. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, I'm really sorry about that, how I didn't record at all, but most of you are pretty good with Trig, I think. So you have an assignment there. I'd like that assignment to be done for Sunday as well. I'll put the key up Monday morning. You can mark it, and that's going to be the last thing I record. So you actually, it has to be handed in to me before Sunday at midnight. I'll put the key up Monday morning. You record it and send me your answer, your mark. And that's the last thing. I'm going to be making grades up this week. So get anything missing into me as soon as you can. Alrighty. We will see you soon.